Happy Labor Day, everyone. I'm standing in front of a very patriotic family who put out their red, white, and blue flag in honor of Labor Day, which celebrates and expresses gratitude for all the American labor workers and workforce who allow our country to stand economically strong and vibrant and provide all the services that we enjoy all year round. Perhaps this year Labor Day is more meaningful than any other year, because sometimes we take the blessing of being able to work for granted. But during this pandemic, many of us were forced to sit home and not work, or our work schedules were altered, or our businesses were forced to shut down due to the pandemic. And for once, we started to realize how much gratitude and how much appreciation and how much satisfaction and joy we actually get from being able to work each and every day. In the book of Eov, the prophet says it best when he says, Adam la'almal yivaled. Man was created to work, to toil, to labor. We are wired to be able to work and enjoy and reap the benefits and the satisfaction of our work. That is the way we as human beings are conditioned. And sitting idle and not being able to work is actually something that is contrary to our nature, because the greatest joy comes from your hard work and achievements. But there is a very beautiful teaching in Pirkei Avot which guides us and explains to us what does it mean spiritually when we talk about the labor force. And it is the words of Hillel that everyone knows. Hillel basically asks three questions, and he leaves the answers for us. His first question is, Im ein ani li, mi li, ? If I am not for myself, who will be for me? Now, typically, everyone answers this question as a rhetorical question, meaning, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? Obviously, no one will be for me, so I must be for myself. But there's another way to view the answer to this question. The other way to answer this question is, if I am not for me, who will be for me? Lots of people will be for me. Our families are for us, even when we're not for ourselves. Our friends are for us, even when we're not for ourselves. And the entire labor force is there for us, even when we're not for ourselves. When we get up in the morning and we go to the store and buy food, someone got up early to open the store, to deliver the food, the fresh produce. When we go out in the streets and the streets are clean, that's because someone came and collected the garbage and kept the streets clean for us. When we feel safe and protected, that's because there's a police force out there. And the many, many businesses that we utilize and frequent during the day and services we depend on, there are millions of people out there working every day on your behalf. So Labor Day tells us, appreciate and be grateful for all the people who are doing their jobs so you can enjoy the quality of life that you enjoy every day. The second question Hillel asks is, Ukshani la'atzmi ma'ani. When I am for myself, only for myself, what am I? And the point here is that he doesn't say, who am I? He says, when I am only for myself, what am I? Shouldn't he have said, who am I? And the answer is that Hillel is implying that when you're only for yourself, when your labor is only self-centered, when you only toil and work for your own benefit, then you become what? You become a thing. Or even worse, you become like an animal, worse than a thing. In order to be a human being, your labor should be not only for yourself, but for the benefit of others. And that's the second dimension of labor. When we go to work every day, we should realize not only that others are working for us, but also that we must work for others. That the joy and the satisfaction of labor is not just that we get to take home a paycheck, but that through whatever service we provide, we're able to benefit the lives of others. And when we're not only toiling and working for ourselves, that's the way we develop our full potential as human beings. And so Hillel says, if I am only for myself, what am I? I become a thing, or even worse. I must remain a human being and be motivated by my work, not for the financial reward, but for being able to be a blessing in the lives of others through whatever line of work we have. That's the greatest privilege and the greatest joy of our work. And finally, the third question that Hillel leaves for us to answer, and that is, if not now, then when? And that's the most powerful question of all. Yes, work is essential, and we understand the term essential this year. Every one of us is essential. And what we must remember is that there are a lot of smart people out there, a lot of capable people, but sometimes we procrastinate, we delay, we say, I'll do the work, but not today, not now, some other time. And Hillel says, if not now, when? Now's the time to act, now's the time to toil, now's the time to work. And these are the three blessings and the three reminders of Labor Day. Number one, be grateful for all the people that are working for you. Number two, be grateful for the ability to work on behalf of others, especially this year. We realize that. And number three, don't delay your work, do it now. This week's parsha begins, Atem nitzavim hayom. You're all standing today before Almighty God. It's the blessing on the Shabbat right before Rosh Hashanah, because this is the last Shabbat of the year, the last Shabbat of 5780, before we start Rosh Hashanah on the following Shabbat. And God's blessing is that you know how you are blessed when you stand together, when you realize that you're all interdependent, you're all reliant on one another, you all are a blessing to one another, and you appreciate the ability to be a blessing to others and to receive the blessings of others. I want to just conclude with a story. Someone once said that life is like a bus ride. On the bus ride, people get on different stops. Just like life, people are born at different stages and different periods of life. But unfortunately, people get off at different stops. Yes, people who are on the ride, the bus ride, the journey of life with us, sadly get off the bus and we miss them. We miss their presence in our lives because their stop came. However, we continue on the journey of life with people getting on and people getting off. Why do people get on at certain stops and why do people get off at different stops? Only God knows. Their journey had to begin at this point and end at that point. Just like when someone gets off a bus, that was their home, that was their address, that was their destiny. They got off in the place they needed to get off. However, there's one person who stays on the bus ride until the very end of the ride. And that, of course, is the bus driver. Why? Because everyone needs him to drive the bus on their behalf. And therefore, he stays on the bus till the very end. And our rabbis teach us a secret. They say that when your life is only about yourself, that is not the source of the greatest blessing. The source of the greatest blessing is when you are like the bus driver, when everyone is reliant and dependent on you. Then you can turn to God on Rosh Hashanah and say, God, inscribe me in the book of life. Grant me blessings for the new year. Because I'm not only asking for myself, I'm asking for all the people that rely on me, that depend on me. I want to continue driving the bus for another year so I could be a source of blessing to others, because so many people rely on what I do. And when your life focus is not just on yourself, but being a blessing to others, then God willing, God will look at all of us on Rosh Hashanah and say, your motivation to be inscribed in the book of life, to be granted a year of not just physical life, but in pleasure and enjoyment and happiness and health and all the blessings, will allow you to be the greatest source of blessings for others, because your work in the coming year will be a blessing to others. And in the merit of that, when you say, God, we're all together, we need each other, we rely on each other, we will remain blessed for the coming year to be a year of continued and improved health and blessings for all of us, so that we can continue doing our task in this world for others, our family, our loved ones, and even the strangers that we meet along the path of life. Wishing everyone a happy, meaningful Labor Day. Think about the message of Labor Day. Think about red, white, and blue. Think about all those who sacrifice for this country, especially our troops who give up their lives, and let us learn to sacrifice more in our lives for the benefit of others. Have a spiritually meaningful Labor Day.